kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello race fans and welcome to the virtual Milwaukee Mile. We are live here with the virtual American Short Track Tour with these super late models running 80 laps at the mile-long racetrack in Wisconsin. I'm Liam Irvig, joined up in the booth with Corey B. Corey, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good up here, Liam. Looking forward to watching a race at Milwaukee. Haven't really ever watched a race here actually at all. I mean, maybe once. Maybe I've seen at least maybe a tour mod here once, maybe a truck race. That's about it.
Yeah, it's not a super common track for iRacers to race at. You know, it's not obviously one of the NASCAR scheduled tracks, so you're not going to see it in A, B, or C fixed or open races. But these guys running the short tracks, sticking with mile-long tracks or less. This is actually the second longest track they're going to run this season, right behind New Hampshire, which I believe clocks in at 1.058 or something, just a hair over this one. So you see some calamity ensuing there with our previous race winner, Ryan Bird, coming up off of 2. Just a few moments left in practice here at the Milwaukee Mile. Braxton DeWeese has put down the fastest lap. Looks like he's kind of showing up all by himself. I'm not sure what that's about. Everybody else in the same
You know what it is?
session there.
It's a run group. They have so many cars out here. They split them up into 2 different run groups.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So DeWeese has put down about 35 laps in his practice, but does not have the group with him. And we did see these guys try a couple of mock restarts throughout the course of this practice session, about 12 guys each time. We're in for some pretty exciting stuff, especially on these restarts. But with this being the biggest track we've been to so far, I think getting spread out is going to be something we'll see a bit more of than we have these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it should, by theory.
So just about 2 minutes left in practice here. We're watching that 99 of Rob Hattenback. We'll go ahead and go over some of your track facts here. Sits at exactly 1 mile here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Actually, West Allis, Wisconsin. Not too far out, but 99 degrees is the track temp right now, 74-degree air temp. About a 33% humidity, a bit of cloud cover, and 12-mile-an-hour winds. A little bit more significant than we've seen these last couple of weeks, and at the fastest track that we've been to so far. We'll see if that maybe makes any sort of difference on these drivers, how they approach these corners. But coming up, we've got 80 laps at a mile-long, super abrasive surface. These guys don't have any tire changes, so they'll have to keep it underneath them for all 80 laps. Corey, what does that do to your strategy when you know you don't have an extra set of tires in the pits?
Well, that's when you either want to get a big old lead and say, please stay green, or you just hang in about in top 3 there and hope for some late race cautions, save your tires early on in the race, and then pounce.
Yeah, and I don't mean this as a dig, but this is not a league that's a stranger to caution, so restarts and kind of anticipating when those yellows are going to fly, that's going to be key in what it takes to win this race. I mean, we've got incredibly talented short track drivers in the field, but when you get so many talented drivers in such a small space, tempers start to flare, bumpers start to be used a little bit, and that's just kind of that late night short track action that we've come to expect out of the Virtual American Short Track Tour drivers.
And most definitely not taking anything away from these drivers, but it is a short track car on a big old mile track, which could lead to some certain possibilities of a wreck.
It certainly does, but qualifying is getting started. It looks like 23 drivers are ready and registered so far. So unless we've got 3 more coming in the next 5 minutes, we should not have a last chance qualifier. Won't see anybody going home. But right now we see Dakota Moniz getting out onto the racetrack. Ryan Bird, your winner last week, hoping to go 2 in a row. Danny Cochran also out on the racetrack as well, trying to get an early lap in. Ethan Smith, the driver we saw very fast in practice. Go ahead and put that tower up so you can see how the laps fall as they do. Obviously, we can't see everybody all at once in a single car qualify, but Ethan Smith trying a little bit of strategery there, rocking the outside, cut down to the inside for his warm-up lap. Sorry about that. Ethan Smith once again rocking that outside. Todd Lamphere, he's on his first lap. Ollie Fonseca coming up off of turn number 4 to complete his first lap in that 42 machine. It's a driver we didn't see last week, but Ryan Bird jumps up to the top of the board initially.
And make that Zach Jursic.
Yeah, Jursic up with a strong lap there with a 29.73, puts him up on the top. Now Braxton DeWeese, 29.57. He was fastest in practice up in his own group.
That's about tenth and a half quicker than Jursic so far. See if anybody can top him. We've had a couple from practice that could knock him off. Ethan Smith with a better lap on his second go around.
And one thing that's interesting about this series, they get 3 laps for qualifying. So Ethan Smith currently rocking his 3rd lap. He sits in 2nd place with a 29.62, trying to get just a little bit more up off the corner so he could take pole position away from Braxton DeWeese. Does not gain on that lap. Thomas Green, however, he's coming around on his 2nd lap, sits in the top 5, trying to improve in that 3 machine.
Yeah, very interesting that they give him 3 laps here. So I guess if you mess up on 1 lap, you get 2 laps to try to redeem yourself. Or these cars kind of come in better on their 2nd lap than they do on their 1st lap.
Well, you also get the option to take that 2nd lap as a little bit of a cool-down lap before you come hard on your 3rd one and take another shot at the pole, as Braxton DeWeese has done that. He came into the pits on his 2nd lap, used it as a warm-up, and now he's going to try to improve on his pole time as he works that bottom side. Already sits with a 29.57. See what he comes across the line with. He goes down low. I'm not sure if he liked that. Wasn't quite as quick as his first time around, but have a look at Isaac Shelley, who's going through his 2nd lap, coming up off of turn number 4, rather. Super sideways out of that 98. These cars have a lot of power, and this track having the longest straightaways that these guys have had all season. The gear ratios are definitely going to be set up for these guys to get a lot of power coming up off the corners. Brandon Elvis out here. He's a new face in the league. Coming out to take his 3rd lap. Sits in 14th right now. We'll see if he can improve. Just a hair off of his previous lap time. Does not improve. Stays in 14th. Justin Sipes out here. Got the job done week number 1. Hoping to get back to victory lane. He's going to get a little sideways there in turns 1 and 2 and abort his lap.
Yeah, so pretty much chalk him up to having a 29.694 there.
Here's Mason Cassidy, last driver to put down a lap. He's rocking his 1st lap right now, but only 20 seconds left in qualifying. It's unlikely that he'll get another lap down.
.129 for Mason on lap 1, and I think the clock is gonna expire on him here, and not gonna quite get there.
Nope, unable to get that 2nd lap in. So Braxton DeWeese is going to be on the pole for heat number 1. Thomas Green, Danny Cochran, Justin Sipes, Philip York, Mo Perry, Ali Fonseca, Rob Hattenbach, Todd Lamphere, Dakota Moniz, Mason Cassidy, and then Sean Huffstutler rounding out the field for your first heat race. Mercy Medical Transportation Dash. These 12 drivers are ready to figure out who's going to start where on the inside lane.
Yeah, 15 laps here to get it sorted out. Top 10 directly into the feature, and the rest, they're either going to roll a B main. Did we roll a B main last week with the same amount of cars? Or
No, we're not going to have a B main or a last chance qualifier if we don't have any go or go homers.
That's what I figured.
We'll run through these heat races, essentially the Daytona duels, to figure out where you're going to start for the big show. Kind of give you a chance to get some laps run in traffic as well. Looks like we're just waiting on one more Mason Cassidy to get onto the racetrack here. And then we'll be ready to roll. These engines are fired. Got some heat in them.
Seeing a lot of Chevy decals on these cars. Top 4 all run the Chevy manufacturer, but that doesn't really matter. The manufacturer decal is just exactly that is a decal. So whatever these drivers prefer.
Yeah, these super late models are definitely diverse in what these designers can do with the paint schemes. You'll see some of these guys out here in Chevy Camaros, some of them out here in some Ford Fusions, maybe even a Mustang or two, potentially a Dodge Challenger. Who knows what these guys have come up with. Mason Cassidy did not make the start of this heat race, so we'll keep you posted on what happens with him. Looks like we've got plenty of fans in the chat. Chris DeWeese says, good evening, everyone. Good short track, or let's get short track racing. Rooting for the 15 there. Ronnie Miller says, go get him, Braxton. Braxton's got a lot of fans, so the 00 and the 2. We appreciate everybody tuning in here. Getting ready for the heat race number 1, the Mercy Medical Transportation Dash. Pace car makes that hard left turn into the restart zone, and on the gas, we are green in the first heat race of the night, side by side as they get down up into turn number 1. And now we're seeing potentially 3 wide as Justin Sipes looks to the middle underneath the 3 of green. Danny Cochran gets down to the inside for second. Green able to keep that 55 behind him for the time being, but sitting up on the outside might not be where he wants to be as he slides way wide there, and a lot of guys are sliding coming up off the corner.
Yo, looks like the bottom line is where you want to be at. Thomas Green trying to fight hard to stay up here in the top 3. That's Philip York on the bottom. Oh my, he blanked out. Thomas Green blanking out there a little bit. Not what you want to see. Sipes will get around him, and best bet is just fall in line, and he does.
And sideways is, I believe that was Sipes, yeah, coming up off the corner, right in front of Thomas Green. And like you said, that's not something you want to see, is somebody blinking around you, and you definitely don't want to see everybody disappearing if you're the car that is blinking. Danny Cochran working that bottom side, seems to be making a run at the 15 throughout the middle of the corner, with the exit for Braxton DeWeese is taking away any chance for that 2 machine to make a pass.
We usually don't talk about dirty air, but this track kind of acts like a big cookie cutter track, like you would see in NASCAR for these types of vehicles. So maybe a little bit of drafting plays a factor here. As you see Danny, he closed in on DeWeese there on exit 2. See if he can't make a charge here. It looks like DeWeese is running a little bit better off in 3 and 4 than Danny, but Danny, a little sideways.
Yeah, sideways coming up off of turn number 4 was Rob Hatton back here. He's going to lose a few spots. Keeps it straight, though. We jump back to this lead battle. Actually, the battle for 3rd place, 4th place is eating up quite a bit with the 3 machine. Thomas Green trying to work the inside of the 55, Justin Sipes. Seems like Sipes is able to hold that middle line just well enough, and just as I say that, he goes a bit wide there, and now Thomas Green is going to be able to complete that pass. Going to be 5 out of 15 laps complete here in heat race number 1, the Mercy Medical Transportation Dash.
He brought Ollie Fonseca with him as well on the bottom groove. A little bit of pushing right there out of Justin Sipes to Ollie, making him honest.
Back up front, Cochran. He's been within a car length of that leader. Look at these guys sliding coming up off the corner.
I think we've seen about 6
Oh, man.
there.
Here comes Cochran down to the inside. Super tight racing coming up off of turn number 2. It looks like the 15 gets a little bit of a run coming up off the corner. Cochran moves up. Is he going to try a side draft? Drives it in deep, getting down into the corner. They almost touch. Cochran with a better run coming up off the bottom side. Here comes the 15, though, up top. Braxton DeWeese not giving up. DeWeese has to relinquish the position there. Could he try to slot in behind? And he might have taken a shot there from that 97 machine of Philip York.
Yeah, York did not want to let DeWeese down in front of him, as he's now DeWeese is going to try to see what he can do to get back around Cochran.
Sipes and Fonseca racing hard for 5th place just behind this top 4. The top 3 are virtually under a blanket as Philip York now moves down to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. Didn't quite have the space to make a move, has to let off just a touch. That's going to cost him a considerable amount of track position to that 15 machine, getting down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. So they're still side by side for 5th place. Ali Fonseca now completes that pass over Justin Sipes, but for how long?
Yeah, it just does not look like there's a lot of grip down below that yellow, and oh my, Braxton sent it deep there into turn 1.
He sure did.
Oh,
and into the wall. He stays up on it. He's going to lose 2nd and 3rd. 15 falls back to 4th, but I don't think the damage is going to be too bad on that machine.
Shouldn't be too bad for a heat race here, as we are closing in 5 to go here this time by for your leader, Danny Cochran.
Yeah, Cochran's jumped out to a bit of a lead now, 3-4 car lengths through the corners. Sipes not giving up all the way on the apron, trying to get position on Ali Fonseca right in front of him. Thomas Green making a strong recovery. We saw him get up into the wall just a little bit earlier. Setting up in 3rd place now after falling back to about 6th. Looking to the inside of Philip York, and York looks to be loose coming up off the corner. These guys trying to use up all the racetrack that they can, but the last thing you want to do is hit the wall. We saw it hurt that 15 quite a bit. Now he's gone from starting on the pole position to potentially starting all the way back in 7th if he can't gain any more spots. We've got 3 laps to go in the Mercy Medical Transportation Dash.
Yeah, you see them, they're trying to utilize that apron a little bit, cut the air off the car behind them, and 13 laps in, it's gripping up a little bit better than it did early on.
Yeah, and that's with only 12 cars on the racetrack right now. We're going to have 11 in heat number 2. But then 23 drivers will be ready to rock and roll for 80 laps. That's just going to help this rubber up and grip up even more. We've got 2 laps to go for Danny Cochran, looking to get his first checkered flag of the year. And up on the wall there was Justin Sipes, doing a Martin Truex Jr. or Casey Kane impression, riding that wall. He's able to drive away, seems to be slow through the corner. There might be some major damage to that car, but if he can hold on for just one more lap, he's going to have 6th place in this race, which will lead to 11th place starting spot. Danny Cochran, however, he battled pretty hard with the 15 for the race lead and hasn't looked back since. He's increased the gap to over half a second. Here comes Thomas Green looking at the inside of Philip York for 2nd. Fakes him out. York goes wide up in the middle of 3 and 4. Thomas Green's going to take away 2nd. Braxton DeWeese tries to get to the inside. DeWeese is sideways. Danny Cochran wins heat race number 1. Then it's Thomas Green and Philip York. Braxton DeWeese, Ali Fonseca, Justin Sipes, Mo Perry, Rob Hattenback, Dakota Moniz, Todd Lamphere, and Sean Huffstutler. Mason Casterly did not start. I got to fly through those because this next heat race starts quick. Already, we're ready for the grid there.
Let these drivers get up here so you can see all the beautiful cars. This is going to be the Think of First Responder Dash. On the pole, you're going to have the 00 of Ethan Smith outside. You'll see Isaac Shelley. Row number 2, you're going to have the 96 of Zach Jursic on his outside, Christopher Smith, and then 21. Row number 3 on the inside, the number 49 of Ryan Bird outside of him, the 01. That's going to see Aaron Kralik. Row 4 on the inside, the 054. That'll be Brandon Elvis on his outside, the 57. That's going to be Thomas Walter. Row 5, Justin Potter in the 51. Owen Joyce in the 19. And capping out the field here in the number 22, that is going to be Jim Center. So 15 laps the distance. Everybody transfers on. Sets the outside lane. Here we go. Oh, I'm blinking there for a little bit. Smith in control here for heat number 2. We'll see Barney throw the green flag, and looks like Isaac Shelley gets a pretty good launcher. See if any kind of penalty might come out of that. Nope, not going to get penalized. So pretty good start for Isaac as well. Ethan Smith and Isaac back down the backstretch here, side by side still. Looks like they started the race like that. Yeah, outside lane just does not seem to be able to go anywhere, at least in these heat races. Maybe we'll see it come in later on in the feature race. Right now, in the heat, you kind of want to be protecting that bottom. Owen Jurisic a little bit lower there in turn 3 and 4, hit the little bit of grass that is on this property. Not something you want to hit when you're trying to catch the leader.
Sorry about that. I Yeah. Didn't have the microphone on. We're good now.
Well, how long was that? Oh,
I'm gonna guess from the start of this heat. So we got your phenomenal call there for the start of it, but I mean, you weren't missed at all. It was just my microphone that was muted, but we're A-okay. Zach Jurczyk seems to be falling back from your race leader, Ethan Smith, as we are just past the halfway point in heat number 2, the Thank a First Responder Dash.
yeah, Ethan Smith, good commanding lead over Jurczyk. He's had it since the drop of the green here. Jurczyk started third. Shelley, who started second, dropped back to third after a pretty good start at the beginning of the heat.
Interesting for Smith to get down on the apron there.
Well, you know, he's got such a big lead. He can test some things. See what works.
Well, it doesn't seem like much work that last lap around as the 96 closed in massively. It's about a quarter of a second gap right now with 5 laps to go here in heat race number 2. To thank
Still
first
got a
for,
couple car length gap here. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the thank a first responder dash coming down to what could be a super exciting finish. The top 3 within a couple of car lengths of each other. That 00 using up a bit more racetrack up off the corner. Throughout the course of a longer race, I'd say that might hurt, but right now that 00 seems to know exactly what to do on this racetrack to get speed out of it. Just as I say that, that 96 closes down within about a car length. Now looks down to the inside, sends it in. Smith not going to be phased, though. He goes in on a wide arc, a low apex, and a wide exit. 3 laps to go this time. Look at the 96 trying the outside.
Yeah, Ethan went to protect the inside. This is going to open up the door here for Isaac Shelley to think about, hey, if you do want to play around here, I might sneak in and take it.
As Shelley looked down to the inside of the 96 there, the first time he's had a look at inside of Zach Jurczyk. 2 laps to go this time. 2 car lengths separate first and second. A car length and a half between second and third. And wide goes the 00. 96 kind of follows him up a little bit. Justin Porter and Brandon Elvis have had a problem on the front straightaway. Potter gets to the pits and doesn't bring out a caution. Now here comes the last-ditch effort. There's going to be 1 lap to go this time for Ethan Smith to try to keep Zach Jurczyk behind him and Isaac Shelley as well.
Yeah, Jurczyk going to have to throw everything at Ethan Smith here if he wants to get around. Same with Isaac Shelley. And Ethan down to the apron a little bit loose, but so was Jurczyk. 1 last corner down in turn number 3 here. And Jurczyk may be a little wide on the entry, but Ethan Smith going to hold him off. Coming out of 4. It's going to be the 00 Ethan Smith picking up heat number 2 win here, followed by Jurczyk and Shelley.
And then we've got Bird, Kralik, Walter, Smith, Joyce, Center, Elvis, and then Potter does not finish after going to the pit lane. That's going to do it for heat race number 2. The Thank a First Responder Dash. And once again, we do appreciate Tattoos by Polly being a sponsor of this. And, oh, it looks like we do. We'll see if we get skipped through this part.
We're going to see if they don't just skip on through. I think it's because we had 26 people actually register for the race, and 3 of them were a no-show.
Well, Cassidy's getting up out of the racetrack. Not sure if we'll have a 3-car 25-lap race. If not, but
Well, there's Sean Huffstutler as well. And oh, they are allowed to put it in gear, so we got 2 cars here. I don't know if it's possible for them to shorten this, or folks, we're gonna see a 2-car race here, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. We got a little bit of a practice session with these 2 drivers. Definitely not the ideal situation for these guys, but
Potter girding up in the pit, so 3 cars on track. Maybe we can, Sean, Mason, if you're out there listening, wait up for Potter here. Maybe.
oh, the 9's coming into the pits.
Okay.
Mason Cassidy staying out there, so. I tell you what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back with either some racing action or some answers as to what we got going on here. Appreciate you tuning in. This is the Virtual American Short Track Tour on Sim Racing Media. I'm gonna just do a break. I don't know what's going on with this. All right, we're back live. Still not entirely sure. I mean, I guess we're going to run through this. Got a couple of cars on the track.
Yeah, we got Mason Cassidy, and they threw a caution here to get Justin Potter, who decided to come back out on the track, his 2 laps back, so.
Yeah, I think Potter was kind of in the same boat as us. I obviously, he can get the mic muted in time and whatnot to, I mean, it basically said, yeah, we put this brake on because didn't really know what was going on. And I think Potter was kind of in the same spot where he didn't expect this race to come out, but they're going to restart here. Both of these guys up behind the pace car. It looks like Potter's still 1 down, but it's essentially a 20-lap practice session for these guys.
Yeah, we let Potter go around, and then I mean, we see Mason give Potter his one lap back right there, and obviously he's got to make a whole track up, so it'll be kind of hard to do.
Well, we appreciate everybody who's joined us in the chat. It's been pretty active. A lot of fans for the 15, the 00, and the 2. Good news for you guys. Obviously, Danny Cochran and Ethan Smith both won their heat races. So, CEO of TDGs saying awesome job to the 00 and 2. Alan's Art Images, we're glad to have you back up in here. And, you know, maybe we're just giving you a bit of extra time to make it in time. Preston Smith says, good job, Ethan and Danny. Congrats. Definitely appreciate you guys all tuning in, as I believe now the Cassidy machine is slowing up just a bit.
Well, I think he's allowing for Potter to catch up here so we can have a little 2-car race.
That's probably what's happening, but hey, you know what? You had yourself a pretty good idea. Let's go ahead and talk to our heat race number 1 winner, Danny Cochran. Number 2, you got that job done.
Yeah, man. Just been sitting back enjoying the quote-unquote show here. We got 2 cars on track right now, so that's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, a little bit of practice session for Potter and Cassidy. Not that they really need it, but looks like they're trying to have some fun with it.
We tried to advance the session, but oh well. It's it just gives us a little bit more break, lets us get a little bit more ready for their feature coming up here. Felt pretty fast in that first heat race, so pretty confident that we can put on a good showing in the feature as long as the tires hold up.
And how are you feeling about this type of racetrack? It's obviously a lot flatter than what you guys have run in comparison to, say, like a USA or a Lanier. It's very flat, and it seems like these guys are really getting the tires spun up off the corners.
Yeah, that's what makes it really fun to me, is just being able to work the throttle a little bit on exit, and I think that's where you're really gonna separate the front runners from the back of the field, is how they can save their rear tires and not use them up on corner exit or spin themselves or anything like that. Also, I really like this nice wide track. Can kind of work multiple different lines through the corner, and got a lot of room for racing here. So I think it's gonna, like I said, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the feature.
Yeah, I definitely am too. In Milwaukee, we kind of talked about how it's not a track that either one, Corey and I, are familiar with. We don't necessarily run it a lot, but the action you guys put on in those first couple of heats was incredible, and 80 laps at the biggest track you guys have run at. This is maybe not quite a Daytona situation, but
yeah, I mean, for these cars it might as well be, right? We're coming from racing on, I think the biggest one we raced on so far is like a half mile.
I believe
We've run a lot of
USA
3/8 half-mile stuff.
USA to start the season, I believe. That's 3/4 mile.
Yeah, so nothing quite this big. It's a lot of fun racing somewhere like this. It's something a little bit different. You got I might have mentioned this before, but those long sweeping corners instead of just kind of the hairpin style that we had at USA, and it's not all straightaway, which is a lot of fun. So yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate you joining us, Danny, and before we let you go, do you think that speed is going to translate, the speed you had in the heat? Is that going to translate to the feature?
I sure hope so. What I'm most excited about is if, of course, we can clear for the lead on the start. If we can get some of that clean air going, that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, just being able to kind of dictate the race and kind of keep guys behind us. It's a lot easier to do that whenever you got the clean air. Helps save the tires. So, yeah, I believe if we can hang on to the lead, we're going to have a really fast piece here. Still trying to nail how to navigate traffic and running in that situation, but I think we got a good shot at it here tonight.
Rock on, Danny. Well, we appreciate you joining us. We'll get you sent back to driver's lounge, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Danny. Now we'll go ahead and get our second heat race winner, Ethan Smith, up in here. And Corey, I believe you'll be up here with Ethan.
Hey there, Ethan. You got a copy on me?
I do.
Well, man, you won heat number 2 there while we're watching this 2-car race out here. Talk us through your heat win and what your plan is for the feature here upcoming.
I was just trying to relax. I wasn't really trying to push it. I saw Zach coming up behind me a couple times, and he slid. I gave him the outside going into 1. Just trying to feel it out. I mean, I like this track. It's probably one of my favorite tracks, and I'm glad we're going here. I had this one pretty much circled in my mind for quite a while. Had some bad luck in the beginning. Finished 4th last week, and I'm hoping to get a better finish. Maybe looking for a win this week. It's just going to be very interesting which lanes, how hard everyone's going to push, and when. It's going to be a fun race.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there about how you got to choose what lane. Do you think the middle lane is going to come in at all?
I think once the tires wear, it probably will. Maybe if it's diamonding the corners at all, just because they're so wide, staying low, you might burn your right rear or your right front. In the long run, it's going to be interesting to see who wants to push and shove to get up front compared to who wants to save tires and really save them for the end. That's what I did last week, and it paid off, so maybe I'll do it again this week.
Alright, good insight there from Ethan Smith, your heat number 2 winner. He's got a fan out there.
Yeah, a couple of them. You got some fans up in the chat here, Ethan.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope to put on a show for him, for everyone watching.
All right, that was Ethan Smith, your heat race number 2 winner. We got 8 laps to go for these guys. Probably about 4 minutes of racing action. And well, Corey, this kind of gives us a chance to talk about what we should expect out of this race. We saw the first 2, I mean, obviously the heats, they went clean and green for the most part. We had an incident in that second one that didn't bring out a caution. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see with these guys, all the power that they have coming up off these corners. We saw these guys sliding quite a bit. 80 laps on these tires, that's just going to continue to just abuse them.
Yeah, and we look right here. We got a minute and a half left of this LCQ. I think we might hit the time limit before we hit the lap limit.
I think you're right.
Well, they're gonna hit it right on the nail here.
Yeah, I believe
Or
15 minutes.
it is 14 minutes in, 15-minute race. I think we're gonna hit it. And Justin Potter right now, the one out front, started in the pits 2 laps down. We got him his 2 laps back. Sean Huffstutler decided that he didn't need the practice, said, "You two go right on ahead, and I'll start at the back of this race."
Well, keep an eye on the time limit here. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 laps to go. Justin Potter, he's got himself probably an 8-car length lead coming up off the corner right now. Just these 2 guys out on the racetrack right now could not skip through the last chance qualifier, so we're seeing these guys get a couple extra practice laps. And one thing that I'm kind of wondering, it's more of an iRacing question, is are these tires going to reset for the green or for the feature, or are these guys going to have an extra 25 laps on their tires?
Yes, luckily on iRacing, they get a whole new fresh tire for the beginning of the feature event. iRacing, fortunately, maybe unfortunately, has not added in the where you carry a tire over throughout sessions. Not yet. Maybe in the future. You see Mason Cassidy doing his best Formula Drift impression back there.
Yeah, he got super sideways coming up off of turn number 2. Go ahead and ride on board with him for this final lap here. Justin Potter seems to have this thing on lock. Obviously just a little 2-car race, so not a whole heck of a lot on the line outside of a starting position. You know, who's going to start in front of the other at the back half of this field. Big sideways moment there, touched the wall.
Well, he's putting a show on for the fans out there. That's what he's doing.
Absolutely, but Justin Potter's going to go ahead and take this one away. So the last chance qualifier, sponsored by Tattoos by Polly, does end up going on. A little bit lackluster. Now we've got, looks like, 24 ready to rock and rumble here at the Milwaukee Mile. Go ahead and go through your starting grid. Danny Cochran on the pole, Ethan Smith on the outside pole. Both of them won their heat races. Then we've got Thomas Green, Zach Jersick, Philip York, Isaac Shelley, Braxton DeWeese, Ryan Bird, Ali Fonseca, Aaron Kralik, Justin Sipes, and Thomas Walter.
Second half of the field here, the 54 Morpheus Perry, Christopher Smith. You got Robert Hattenback, Owen Joyce in row 8. Row 9, you see Dakota Manas and Jim Center. Row 9, you're going to have, or row 10 rather, that's Todd Lamp here and Brandon Ellis. Row number 11, you're going to have the 51 of Justin Potter, who just won our LCQ of a race, and the 71 Mason Cassidy, and rounding out the field here, and the Mopar machine, that's going to have Sean Huffstutler.
23 drivers ready to roll here at the Milwaukee Mile. 80 laps to get it done.
80 laps to get it done. That's a lot of time for these drivers to figure it out, but also at the same time, it really isn't. 30-second lap times, that can start clicking off by pretty quick.
Yeah, it definitely can, especially with this short track series. These guys are some of the best to get it done, and they're doing it for us here on Sunday night. The pace car is going to make that hard left turn, go into the pit lane, leave it in the hands of Danny Cochran. The green flag is out. We are racing here at Milwaukee, and already some 3-wide action back in the middle of the pack. Cochran wanted to get clear. We talked to him in that last chance qualifier. He gets clear for the race lead, and now Ethan Smith has a double-wide battle behind him to try to take care of Owen Joyce up towards the wall in the back of the field, losing plenty of positions, and they're 3 wide back here.
Oh my, 3 wide for what would be about the top 20 right there. See Mason Cassidy trying to make short work on it. Same with Justin Potter.
Moving back up a little bit towards the middle of the pack, you see Mo Perry there slotting himself into 12th place. Philip York, however, trying to work the outside on Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese quickest in qualifying, at least in his group. Didn't get the job done in the heat race like he wanted to, fell back a couple of spots, but now he's working the inside of the 96. Zach Jersick, who we saw finish second in his heat, super strong throughout the course of that thing. Look at Philip York sideways coming up off of turn number 4.
You know, I think we're going to see all the sideways action here, especially as the run gets on, these tires start wearing out. And look at that, Philip York just stuck on that outside line, not where he wants to be at. Can he make a hole? Not quite got it yet. Now we'll allow Justin Sipes now to get his inside, and now there's a hole.
Yeah, there's that hole that he wanted to get down. Speaking of, Braxton DeWeese now looking for a hole to get in behind that 96 down into turns 1 and 2. 98, however, Isaac Shelley right behind him with pressure from Ali Fonseca coming up behind. Meanwhile, they're side by side a little bit further back. That's Mo Perry sitting with Rob Hattenback. These guys side by side, dead even down the back straightaway. Hattenback gets in deep. Not quite enough to clear Mo Perry on the initial entry, but now coming up off the corner, he's going to get that job done. Now Mo Perry under fire from the 5 of Dakota Muniz.
Dakota trying to get by Mo Perry here. Mo Perry might have a clearing. He does. He takes it Single file for that range of drivers as we come back up to the top 6 here. Top 8 range. You see Isaac Shelley, who's dropped off a little bit, is dropping.
Oh, and around goes Mo Perry coming up off of turn number 4. No caution. He's got some damage to that left front of that 54 machine, and he has not had the season he has wanted at all. A little bit of damage to the left front of that machine. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Danny Cochran continues to lead over Ethan Smith, Thomas Green, Braxton DeWeese, and Zach Jersey.
So a little bit of a spin for Mo Perry there a lap ago. I'll set him back a little bit. Right now, looks like mostly everybody is single filed out.
Joined a lap early, but we'll take a look quick to see what happened to Mo Perry, and then we'll jump back to the live action. Oh, still too early on that one. We'll jump back live, though, with Danny Cochran. Half a second lead. Braxton DeWeese, however, looking to the inside of Thomas Green to try to take third place away. Ollie Fonseca following on the inside of Zach Jursic.
Yeah, Ollie Fonseca there coming on strong here. He had a good finish in his heat race. Started 9th here. Braxton started 7th, so moving up through the field, those two drivers are.
Now, I know it's early on. We're 8 laps into this thing, but we're seeing a considerably cleaner race than we have in the past. A couple of rules have been changed throughout the course of the last few weeks. Incident points have gone up in terms of whether or not you're going to get penalized. However, if you're involved in a caution, whether you're the guy that gets spun or the guy that does the spinning, you're both going to go to the back, and that's something that a lot of these guys have in the back of their minds. You're not going to want to make a dive bomb move and put somebody else at risk because you know that's going to put your track position at risk. Definitely not something you want to have happen, to go to the back over getting into somebody. So these guys racing a bit more cordially, and we've got another one sideways coming up off of turn 4. Hard into the wall, a couple of them. Todd Lamphere. That's going to bring out our first caution, just as I talked about how clean these guys are racing. That's what you call the announcer's curse. I believe Mason Cassidy might have had something to do with that as well.
I do believe so.
So about half a lap in front of it at this point. We'll see what happened to that 17 machine. Or 71, rather.
17 on the door.
Oh, just touched the grass, got sideways, turned around. Todd Lamphere, nowhere to go.
Hard contact and no quick fixes in this league, so whatever damage they occur here, they gotta keep and try to get it fixed naturally.
Yeah, 17 was trying to diamond his corner and just got a little bit too low, clipped the grass, and that turned him sideways. Overcorrects up in front of the 26 of Todd Lamphere. A tough break for that 26 machine.
Yeah, Mason Cassidy has pulled it to the garage and has exited the stage left here after that, so one car out of the race. Lamphere still in the running, but a whole lot of damage on the front end of that 26 machine.
Yeah, not an ideal situation for that 26 team. Definitely not what they wanted to see in the first 15 laps of this race, but we're working our first caution, 13 out of 80 laps of this race complete. assuming we're going to get one to green this time around. Danny Cochran has led every lap so far after starting on the pole. He won his heat race, was fast in that one. Ethan Smith sits in second place. He won his heat race, but has not been able to get up to that number 2 car. Lights go out on the iRacing sedan pace car, and we're going to have a double wide restart for the first time here today. Both of our heat races went clean and green in the last chance qualifier. I know we had a caution in there, but I don't really count that. That was more of a little practice session. You know, a couple guys on the racetrack. Nothing on the line. We're doubled up, getting ready to roll here. Danny Cochran, Ethan Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Thomas Green, and Ali Fonseca in the top 5.
Danny's been leading this since the drop of the green flag at the beginning. See if he can't hold on here to Ethan Smith. Pace car. Take the hard left-hand turn. There it goes. And Danny on the loud pedal, and he gets a good launch over Ethan Smith here. Down in turn number 1, a little loose on entry, but he is all right. And here comes Braxton DeWeese, the 15. A lot of fans out there for him, charging on the inside. He gets around Ethan Smith. That's going to open up the door for Thomas Green to look. Will he look here? In 3, he will. And he'll clear Ethan Smith.
Yeah, 3 of our top 4 are the most popular in the chat. As sideways was that 96 of Jursic rather. Super sideways coming up off the corner. And now we get, for the first time all day, some of that cloud cover that we were expecting. We were told it was a cloudy day, and now the clouds have covered up the sun. That might cool the racetrack down just a little bit if they stick around long enough. But it already seems like the sun seems to be coming back out. A little bit of hard racing going on for around the 11th position, 12th position. Owen Joyce sits right behind Dakota Moniz, and sideways coming up off of turn number 4 is Rob Hattenback. Now they're 3 wide, potentially getting down into 1. No, Justin Potter thinks a little bit better of it, trying now to undercut, or rather get down to the inside, cut under the 99 of Rob Hattenback. That's a tough move to make, but it seems to be working for that 51 machine of Justin Potter.
Yeah, and Potter started 21st in the field here. So he's making up a little bit of ground, up about 7 spots now. 8 spots if he gets Owen Joyce.
Yeah, if you want to get technical, he raced his way in the last chance qualifier. There's nobody who didn't, but Justin Potter got the W in that one, and he does indeed take himself a checkered flag in the Virtual American Short Track Tour. However, the checkered flag for the big show is still plenty of time for being decided, as Danny Cochran is now defending for Braxton DeWeese. 2 car lengths separates these guys on the straightaway, but down up into these corners. That 2 car going a little bit wide. DeWeese follows him. Ali Fonseca, look at him in 5th place. Gets all the way down to the apron to try to make a move on Ethan Smith.
Yeah, we've seen it about this time in that in both heat races where you see drivers start utilizing the yellow line here, the little rumble strips on the bottom of the racetrack. Maybe something to do with how the tires react after about 15 laps on them.
Well, in my prediction, we talked a little bit before the race started. My prediction was that,
Oh!
and Ethan Smith gets sideways, turned around by the 96. Smith back up in front of Isaac Shelley.
Are you kidding me?
Isaac Shelley with a huge hit to the outside wall. Ethan Smith gets turned around. He's going to have a bit of damage after that one as well, but take a replay of that one. Smith gets a little bit wide, starts getting sideways, potentially some contact from the 42 to start it.
See
96.
Isaac Kelly.
Yeah, 96 gets up into him, and go on board with Isaac Shelley here as this all happens so quickly in front of him. just nowhere he could go. Sounds like there's no power to that car. Well, now he's got power, but gonna be a lot to get fixed up here throughout the course of the race. And definitely a lot to do on pit lane. Ethan Smith, rather, comes in to take some repair as well. So Danny Cochran leads over Braxton DeWeese, Thomas Green, Zach Jurczyk, and Justin Sipes has worked his way up into the top 5. While we have a moment, we're going to go ahead and step away, do a little side-by-side action, and pay some bills. We'll be right back with the restart.
Yeah. Look at this, Justin Sipes in the mix as well here for a top 4. He'll get underneath of Zach Jurczyk, and here comes Philip York as well. Philip underneath of Jurczyk has lost a handful of spots here on the green flag. Oh my. We talked about it this 1 mile. It was kind of like a plate track. You just need to keep that momentum keyed up. That's what all these drivers are trying to do. Is Elvis now gets around his own Joyce at the back here for top 10. With Christopher Smith, he gets around him. So Elvis having a pretty good run. Yeah, see, the bad part about doing that is there isn't a whole lot of grip down there, and not only there isn't any grip, but it's a little bit flatter on that apron than right where the track is, so kind of hurt him a little bit more than it probably helping. You see it right there, he's losing a little bit of ground to Philip York.
Yeah, and I got to assume that that transition across that rumble strip is not easy on these tires, but he's still slotted in that 6th position. Hasn't lost a whole heck of a lot of time. I tell you what, Philip York, he's definitely putting on a show, sitting right up in front of him in 5th place, looking all over the back bumper at Justin Sipes. Sipes, a guy who's gotten the job done here in the VASTT Tour. Definitely would be a good deal for Philip York to get around him and maybe pass the 3 guys in front of Sipes. Apologize for the microphone issues we've been experiencing throughout the night, but we should be settled out. Danny Cochran leading the race by about a car length and a half over Braxton DeWeese. 2 of the most popular drivers in the series sit 1-2 right now. The other driver that's had a lot of commenters in our YouTube chat, that's Ethan Smith. After getting turned around, he's down 16 from where he started, but making a little bit of a recovery. Sitting in 18th position, gained a few on the restart. He's looking at Rob Hattenback and Justin Potter with very hungry eyes in that 00.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit of damage on that car, so I think it's affecting his aerodynamics there. He might get up here a couple more spots, but that car is really hurt for him. So unfortunate break for Ethan Smith here tonight at Milwaukee.
Side by side, racing for 8th place. Aaron Kralik to the inside of the 5, Dakota Moniz. And Moniz with a huge save coming up off of turn 4. He had that thing probably cocked 45 degrees sideways. Corrected it super quick, did not overcorrect, and now we stay green. Tell you what, that could have been a huge moment.
Yeah, a lot of cars around him right at that point, so it could have been a very bad wreck for a lot of these drivers here. You see Brandon Elvis, he is making moves and putting them down.
Yeah, picking him up, putting him down, however you want to put it. Brandon Elvis is doing it. He sits now in 10th place. Continuing to move forward. Well, he's been in 10th place. Like we said before, he's up 10 spots from where he started. He's continuing to try to move forward as these guys get a little bit separated up in front of that Mo Perry and Dakota Moniz battle.
You see Ollie Fonseca there as well in that Mo Perry, Dakota Moniz battle. He's thinking about 3 wide. I know he was thinking about it, but I'm like, that ain't a good idea.
Box the bottom side, but look at Mo Perry able to hold on the outside. We might be seeing the shades of that outside lane, or that middle lane rather, starting to rubber in. Doesn't seem to be exactly where you want to be, but the more speed that's made up there, the more guys are going to be comfortable with trying it out. The more rubbered in it gets, you got to assume it's just going to be better and better as this race goes on. But we are approaching the halfway point here at Milwaukee Mile. At 37 out of 80. Danny Cochran still leads. Braxton DeWeese has been just about this close the whole time. He hasn't been able to inch any closer, hasn't been able to find himself momentum to make the pass, but he hasn't let that 2 car get away from him one bit.
Yeah, the entire top 6 here have all been within striking distance. If somebody makes a mistake up at the front here, one of them could pounce. Caught Jurczyk a little bit further off of the 5th place guy of Philip York, but still there in the sight lines.
Yeah, he hasn't really fallen back either. He's been 3-4 car lengths up off of that 97, but he's not fallen back to that next group behind him with Aaron Kralik, Thomas Walter, and Christopher Smith.
Brandon Elvis has been catching up to that second little group there. Christopher Smith, Thomas Walter, and Aaron Kralik. ever since he got around Dakota Maniz.
Takes a bit wider of an entry there and cuts down to get a later apex. We'll see if that was maybe a missed corner or maybe the line he's been working with throughout the course of this race. But yeah, Brandon Elvis has definitely been putting on a show to start his career in the Virtual American Short Track Tour. A side-by-side action with Ryan Bird and Mo Perry. Ryan Bird won last week. Now he's sitting in 15th place. This kind of goes to show you the parity of this league. You've got a lot of super talented short track racers here as the 5 Dakota Maniz Super Sideways once again coming up off of turn 4. That car is a handful for that man.
Yeah, Dakota's been sideways a lot on that outside and luckily has not made the big mistake of fully crashing. It's been close for him.
The battle closing up just a little bit as third place Thomas Green is closing down on Braxton DeWeese. These guys all about a car length and a half or 2 car lengths separating each other. This time DeWeese goes a little bit wider in the middle, tries to cut up off the corner. And Justin Sipes down to the inside, looks to the inside of Thomas Green. Nothing doing there coming up off of turn 2, but that man looks hungry right now as now Philip York looks to the inside of Sipes.
Now's about the time I expect if somebody's been saving tires last half of the race here, you're going to see him get a little bit more aggressive. So you click over lap 42 there, coming at lap 43. Still single file up at the front.
Well, we're sitting just past halfway here in the Virtual American Short Track Tour Milwaukee mile, 80 miler here. We're going to go ahead and step to our final break of the night. And then we'll bring it home. Appreciate you tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back. Back live here at Milwaukee. You saw the 55 Justin Sipes get turned around with Philip York on his inside. That brings out the caution once again. Sipes able to continue on with no damage, but we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at that one. Not what you want to see if you are that 55 machine. We'll take a look. We saw the Philip York machine with the 97 looking deep into the corner. Unfortunately, just slides up a bit, gets into the back of the 55, turns him sideways. Sipes able to get away cleanly, but that does bring out the caution once again here today. only the third caution we've seen here, 48 laps into this event. Danny Cochran has been out front for all of them. Braxton DeWeese, fastest in qualifying, hoping to be able to get out there and take the lead, get some of that clean air, and see what he's really got under the hood of that machine.
Yeah, so we're going to send Philip York to the back because of the caution there. It looked like he just kind of locked it up going into the corner on a block and a send. So unfortunate break for him and Sipes.
Yeah, he had a strong run coming up off of turn 2. Sipes kind of come down the back straightaway, blocked it a little bit. Philip York, he kept on it, went in there, you know, and it's a racing deal. It's a hard racing incident, but that is, you know, one of the newer rules that we've got going on, just to try to limit incidents. We've seen some incident-heavy races, so yeah, it's just one of the new deals. If you're part of it, you've got to go to the back. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Philip York moves to the back, and Danny Cochran continuing to lead this race. Thought we were getting the twos, or rather the 1 to green that time, but still got another lap of pacing.
Brandon Elvis up 12 spots. Justin Potter up 11 right now.
Yeah, a couple
Two
of guys with
biggest
some,
movers.
yeah, a couple of guys with some really strong runs so far. Elvis up to 8th place. Justin Potter up to 10th. A couple of strong runs for these guys. Again, some of the short track series best. And we're lucky enough to have them doing it on Sunday nights with us, for you guys. And we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in here on Sim Racing Media. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell as well, because we've got phenomenal racing 7 nights a week. And I know good and well on Fridays at least, we've got ourselves a noon show. So if you're a little bit bored at work, you got them Friday feels, want to slack out a little bit, we can definitely entertain you for a little while on Fridays.
Not to mention to drop a like, or you know what, if you want to drop a dislike, you can go right on ahead and drop a dislike as well. We accept all kinds of people out there. Whether you like us or you hate us, you know. Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Drop a comment. We've got a restart coming our way. Danny Cochran on the loud pedal once again. He's going to be in control as the pace car makes that hard left turn. Danny Cochran all up on it already. Braxton DeWeese strong on the restart again. He's going to be able to get down in front of Thomas Green. DeWeese looks to the top of Cochran now. Can he try a crossover? No, he's going to try to get down in front of Thomas Green. Green almost got into the back of him there, but this guy's cooler heads prevail. And look at down to the inside goes Braxton DeWeese. He's down by the grass right there. He had a nose in. He was at the quarter panel. Now he's got the inside lane. Chalk up a new leader. That's Braxton DeWeese in the 15.
New leader here for Milwaukee with 53 laps in the books here. That's Braxton DeWeese, pretty popular out there as Danny Cochran. He's going to have to fight back for it. He's got Thomas Green all over the back end of him.
Goes deep into the corner there, but like you said, Thomas Green all over the back of that 2 machine. Cochran seems to be a little bit quicker throughout the corner. Sideways was that 3 machine coming up off of 2. Or off of 4, rather. Here comes Cochran looking down to the inside of DeWeese. DeWeese goes in deep. Now Cochran tries the middle. Or rather, tries in the middle. Pushes hard in the middle of the corner, trying to get position up on that 15 machine. Nothing doing there as Braxton DeWeese continues to lead. But for how long? Danny Cochran gets into DeWeese. DeWeese going to save it. No, DeWeese goes around. The caution comes out. And he's going to get hit by the 57 and 42.
I'm not even sure that was actually the cause of the caution, because they were already wrecking at the back.
They were. Ryan Bird, Brandon Elvis. We've got a lot to unpack here. First, let's take a look to see what brought out the caution.
Brandon Elvis getting pushed there by...
Oh, Sipes hard into the wall. Elvis almost upside down. That's a big one down the back straightaway with 4 or 5 cars involved.
They still hit each other. So this is the cause of the caution here.
Sipes might have gotten into the back of the 054 there to get him sideways, and then Elvis unfortunately couldn't keep it straight.
This
up
is
front.
the secondary wreck.
Heavy damage for that 15 machine after a couple of hits, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the 2. Obviously got into the back of the 15 machine there, but that is not what brought out the caution.
Well, I mean, unfortunate for the 15. Let's actually look at that again with the 15 from the blimp cam here, Liam.
We'll get that pulled up here. Yeah, we'll take another look here from the blimp cam. What do you see, Corey?
So, you see Braxton get turned, and then bam, heavy damage back there for him. So unfortunate for Braxton.
And Dewey's over here getting repairs done. Tough situation for him. Definitely tough for all of the fans in the chat.
A couple of them in there with a meatball flag. Braxton, one of them. You got Ollie Fonseca and Justin Sipes. Ollie just got cleared to go out. So a lot of them, 2 different wrecks. The first one being a wreck at the back, and then Danny just getting into the back end of Braxton down in turn number 3 and secondary wreck. That's gonna jumble up the field here a little bit. Danny's still out front. Put Thomas Green in second, Aaron Kralik third, Zach Jursic fourth, and Christopher Smith in your top 5.
Danny's definitely been the dominant car of the day. Definitely tough to see him get into the back of the 15 there. Nothing intentional doing there. Danny just had a deeper entry, got down to the inside, or tried to get down to the inside rather, got into the back of that 15, and Braxton DeWeese with a phenomenal job of keeping that car straight up until he got hit. That's an unfortunate deal. Like you said, he's got the meatball still sitting in the pit lane. Tough break for Braxton DeWeese, racing for the win, now sits out of the race. We've got ourselves another restart coming, though. 23 laps to go at the Milwaukee Mile. Pace car makes that hard left turn, and hard on the gas is the 2, but the 21 gets sideways there. Potential tire spin. That's going to jumble up the restart a little bit further back.
Yeah, Christopher Smith falling off here. They're getting loose, and he is all the way at the back. Oh, my.
Yeah, that might have been something a little bit bigger than just tire spin there. He might have missed a shift or tried to get out of the way for some sort of reason. But right now, we go back up front. Danny Cochran leads the race. 21 laps to go. Cochran over Green, over Jursic, Kralik, and then Ethan Smith with a nice recovery. He's gotten himself back up to 5th place. Yeah,
good recovery here for Ethan Smith. even with that damage, he is able to make up that ground.
Yeah, pretty good job by that team of recovering. And
Potter with a block on Philip York back here. This is for the top 6 here. York trying to recover after a EOL penalty a little bit ago.
yeah, he had a little bit of contact. Put him to the back, and now he looks down to the inside. Justin Potter, rather, looks down to the inside of York. Almost a little bit of contact there. And I tell you what, we've got some fans in the chat thinking that there was potentially some malicious intent there, and I don't think there was in terms of that last caution. However, we did ride on board with the 2 cars, so you can draw your own conclusions there, and the league will do what's necessary throughout that. So definitely understand your frustration seeing your driver getting taken out like that. That's a tough break. But just wanted to address that without addressing that. Danny Cochran sits out here with about 2 car lengths of a lead over Thomas Green, though, in second place. Things starting to spread out just a little bit up front as we have less than 20 laps to go, 18 to go this time by. Got to be 17 as they cross the line.
Yeah, so pretty much been Danny Cochran out front. We've seen DeWeese a little bit out front, a little last green flag run there before getting turned.
And Braxton DeWeese has dropped in the chat, let his feelings be known. If you can't pass him, wreck him. That's how Braxton DeWeese feels about getting turned, racing for the lead in the virtual American Short Track Tour. Definitely not trying to stir any drama, but as the media, I guess I've got an obligation. As into the wall goes the 96, coming up off of turn number 4. That's Jursic.
Aaron Krolick there in the Tide machine, trying to see if he can't find a way around Jursic.
Yeah, Aaron Krolick in that Tide ride. Obviously, he won earlier this season in a fantastic finish on the last lap at Lanier. These guys really racing up next to the wall. A couple of them touching it coming up off the corner.
Yeah, I was about to say, they almost look like they want to reach out there and smack the wall a little bit, especially coming off turn number 4.
We definitely appreciate the DeWeese fans for dropping in the chat. We know you guys are a supportive, faithful bunch, so thank you guys for tuning in. As sideways there's the 96 coming up off of the corner. Jursic might have had a bump from Krolick, but keeps it straight. Now Krolick looks down to the inside. Jursic not going to give him the space, but goes a little bit wide. Krolick tries now down to get to the inside. Not quite enough there for Krolick as these top 2 are driving away. Krolick goes for a deep send.
Krolick just trying to throw everything at Jursic here, and this is opening up the door here for Ethan Smith to close in, as well as Philip York. That's what those 2 drivers want to see, is these 2 go at it.
Yeah, and if you're the leader, Danny Cochran, you definitely like to see these side-by-side battles behind you as much as they can appear. Aaron Krolick working the inside once again. It seems to have just a half a lane on the inside, but just as I say that, that 96 machine able to drop down to the bottom, take that line away from Krolick, and keep that position. Meanwhile, Ethan Smith getting ever so much closer to these guys. 12 laps to go. Smith got to be thinking, there's another caution. I'm not out of this thing.
I mean, he really wants a top 3 here. He's just hoping for the best of both worlds. Aaron Krolick and Zach Jursic start racing again real hard, and he can sneak on in. Lap number 70 here. Here comes Philip York on the inside of Smith. That's for 5th.
Yeah, Smith going to give up that position. Not much he can do there with the run that York had on the inside and the preferred lane. Danny Cochran holds on to the lead by about half a second over Thomas Green. Then the battle for third is on, has been on. Zach Jurczyk holding off Aaron Kralik. Fifth place, Philip York just took that away from Ethan Smith. We've got 10 laps to go in the race. Justin Potter up 14 positions from where he started, sits in 7th. A phenomenal debut for this man. Rob Hattenbach sits in 8th place, up 7 from where he started, and defending from Ryan Bird. Last week's winner, Bird sideways coming up off of turn number 2. And Thomas Walter leads this gaggle of cars. Ollie Fonseca down to his inside. Christopher Smith right behind him, and Mo Perry. A little bit of damage to that 54 machine. He's doing everything he can to recover with that and have a good finish. Sitting behind these guys is Sean Huffstetler in that 9 machine. Also got some damage to it, was involved in one of these earlier crashes. Sits in 14th place. He's still up 9 spots from where he started. Owen Joyce racing with Brandon Elvis, or rather racing with the 98 of Isaac Shelley, who's a lap down right now. And Brandon Elvis in his debut, rocking the 16th place. He's still made 4 spots up from where he started the race. Jim Center races Todd Lamphere back here in 17th and 18th as the final drivers on the lead lap. And Braxton DeWeese has gotten back out onto the racetrack. He's right in front of Danny Cochran, and I wonder what might be going through that 15 machine's head right now.
Well, we'll see. If you're Danny right now, I don't know if I want to get next to the 15 or not. There might be some plans of a retaliation. We will find out here if Danny gets up here.
And obviously, retaliation is frowned upon in this league. We've seen a couple chances or a couple situations where a driver has tried something malicious and has been dealt with accordingly. So, I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to see chaos, but obviously the other part of me knows what the rules are, and I can't imagine Braxton DeWeese is gonna do much more than just try to get into that 2 car's head.
Yeah, I think if he's going to do anything, he would be backing off a little bit more than he is right now. So
I can't imagine he'll make it easy for Danny Cochran here with just 6 laps to go, coming to 5 laps to go. But the longer he sits behind that slow car, or lapped car rather, of the 15 Braxton DeWeese, the better off Thomas Green is going to be in that 3.
yeah, Thomas Green trying to close it in here in the closing laps. Looking out his front windshield, he sees the 2 sitting behind the 15, thinking, man, if they can get racing here, I know 15 might race the 2 a little bit more hard as a lap car still.
Side by side, Aaron Kralik has finally got down to the inside of the 96 there. Kralik has the nose on the inside of Jurczyk, but Jurczyk cuts down a little bit of a bump there from Kralik to Jurczyk, and now Philip York going to take advantage as well.
And
York now to
might
the
get
inside. Sorry there, cut you off, but York to the inside of Kralik. Now York looking for 3rd rather. And give it to him. 3 laps to go. Danny Cochran's got himself about 3/4 of a second over Thomas Green. Philip York sits in 3rd place, and the battle for 4th is hot.
Jurczyk trying to stay out and ahead of Aaron Kralik. He gets by out of turn number 4, but Philip York, the lap prior, took 2 of them at one time for a podium right now. Oh, caution is out!
The caution has just come out. Justin Potter has gone around to the front straightaway, and we're going to have overtime. And a Potter goes around again. Oh, no! Todd Lamphere with some evasive action there.
That was, I do believe, man, that wasn't in front of your leader. It was close. It looked like it.
So contact between the 51 and 49. Potter might have been a little bit loose coming up off the corner and got back down into Bird, but Bird was definitely tight down there on the inside. Yeah, Potter got a little bit loose and come down, and tough break for both of these drivers.
Well, now we are setting green, white, checker number 1 territory.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a good chance here for somebody steal one away from Danny. Danny has been dominating. This is the best opportunity that Philip York has had. He'll be starting on the inside row right behind Danny.
Yeah, so our first edition of overtime coming up here at the Milwaukee Mile. This is only our 5th caution of the night. These guys have been pretty clean throughout the course of this thing. You see Braxton Ruiz, first car 1 lap down. He's actually 15 down, but the only one, or rather the first one that's not on the lead lap, so he's going to get his free pass there. Get one of his laps back. Well, it's not mathematically possible for him to get back on the lead lap. He's definitely out here trying to get some more laps in, get some more time in this car, and just continue to learn and be better for the next handful of races as we approach crunch time in the championship. Got some fans of Ethan Smith and the 00 in the chat, some Danny Cochran fans as well. We appreciate the DeWeese group as well. Alan's Art Images up in here. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, hanging out with us here for this Sunday night shootout as these guys are getting ready for 2 more laps, or what could be 2 more laps, here at the Milwaukee Mile. Now, Corey, I want to ask you, when you get into a race like this, especially when you're, say, Danny Cochran, you've been leading most of this race, now you find yourself in a green-white checker situation, what's running through your mind?
Get away and get going quick. Don't let them have an opportunity to get to you.
I tell you what, that 2 machine's been damn good at that from the start of the race. It's been phenomenal on restarts. We've got a fan of the 3 machine, Thomas Green, in the chat. Appreciate you, Anna, popping in, letting us know who your favorite is. And once again, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss a race. We've got phenomenal racing action 7 nights a week. And as we see these guys getting doubled up, 1 to green here, we would also sorry there. We also got the 3 of Thomas Green up to the outside. Philip York, Zach Jursic, Aaron Kralik rounding out your top 5. Ethan Smith, Rob Hattenbach, Ali Fonseca, Christopher Smith, and Thomas Walter rounding out your top 10. So 2 more, potentially. We'll see if they make it through this first lap. These guys are ultra competitive when it comes to racing with each other, and every spot means a lot more than most races, I guess. A little bit of pride on the line. Pace car's going to make that hard left turn. Cochran on the loud pedal. Thomas Green hard up on the gas as well. Cochran spins the tires a little bit. Thomas Green right behind him. Gets down to the inside. Is there going to be a little bit of a bump? Not quite enough there, but Thomas Green to the inside, and around goes Ethan Smith. Caution is going to come out once again. So for the 6th time today, our 2nd overtime, Ethan Smith gets turned around.
See what happens here for Ethan Smith. Going around. Gets clear of Kralik. And maybe a little help. Yep, and there goes Kralik. up into the door with Smith.
Yeah, so we'll see if Crawley gets sent to the back. I'm almost certain he will.
Almost certain. I mean, it depends on if he actually did make contact or not.
Yeah, he's going to the back now. Aaron Crawley has to give up that position. Once again, that's a little bit newer for these guys. These guys doing everything they can to promote clean racing, good short track racing, and not the bump and run fest that we maybe saw at the Clash at the Coliseum for the Cup drivers this year. Braxton DeWeese going to get another of his laps back. Aaron Crawley sits on the top side in his way.
Excuse me, coming
swerve.
through.
Yeah, DeWeese has to swerve through the field. Excuse me, coming through. That's probably exactly what's going through his mind.
So
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
give it another shot here for Green and York.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the fuel numbers look like on these cars.
I'd
This
almost
being a
imagine
1 mile
they're gonna-
oval, we've run 86 laps so far. It says 3 to go right now, but that's not going to start counting down until we get the lights off on the pace car.
And Aaron Krolick is gonna elect to take it to the hauler and load up. So he'll be scored with an 18.
A tough break for that 0-1 machine. Obviously got into the 0-0, got him turned around, had the penalty, and just kind of decided, well, I can't lose anything more. That's potentially the case there on the 10 machine, or the 0-1 rather, that tied ride. I always get it confused with Ricky Rudd's 10 machine.
Oh, and look, oh my, the second place guy, Thomas Green, blinked out there for about a corner. He's, uh-oh. You do not want to start blinking not this late into the race. So maybe connection problems for Thomas Green right there. He's back in now, but a little bit of blink action. This pace car has shut the lights off. We're going to attempt this a second time under green-white checkered. They crash before we get back to the line. They'll throw a caution. If we get to the white flag, well, they can kill each other.
Pretty much. So as it's scheduled right now, if they don't get a caution on that first lap, it'll be a 90-lap race instead of an 80-lap race. Definitely one of the longest in terms of distance nights of the year. But we're going to have 2 more laps at it. That pace car's going to make that hard left turn. Danny Cochran's going to lead him down over Thomas Green. Corey, I'll let you take it away.
Here we go, pace car in. Hopefully for one last time. Danny on the loud paddle. Thomas, pretty good start. We see Jursic once again shoot to the outside. And oh, contact Green to the back bumper of Danny. And Jursic is all over. And we got another caution is out. Oh, my.
Isaac Shelley this time gets turned around. And that's tough for Isaac. You know, he's a couple laps down at this point. He's not really racing for anything. We'll see what happens here as he gets caught up on the top of a 3-wide battle. Just loops it around.
Yeah, just a little bit of door action there. Got him sideways. So, green-white checker number 3 territory upcoming.
Yes, sir. Let's see if we can steal anybody for a quick question on fuel. Hey, Thomas, it's Liam up in the booth. I hate to steal you so late in the race. I just wanted to ask quick, is fuel going to be any sort of concern?
Right now, no, not at all. We're good. We're like 15 to the good. At least I am.
Awesome stuff. You're sitting in second place. Is there maybe anything you got for this last restart?
I thought the first green white checkered I might have had my best shot, but I'm running really tight right now. All I can really do is hope that Danny makes a mistake or I just get a really good restart and we can kind of be side by side. But now with the 97 in the mix, it's gonna be tough. I know everyone up here is aggressive and rightfully so. So we'll see how it all pans out. Hopefully we can get a win.
Well, we appreciate the words from you. We'll send you back to Vale, and best of luck on this green white checker.
Thank you guys.
Definitely not what we usually do up in here, pulling a driver in while he is driving, but under caution here. Figure who better to ask than somebody up in the race car. Looks like Zach Jersic gonna come down pit lane, give up his spot up in the top 5, and that's a tough break for that 96 machine. But we heard from Vale Racing, we heard Thomas Green say he's got at least 15 laps to the good at this point. I believe this is the third and final green-white checker.
It is the final green-white checkered, so if we don't make it back around to the white flag and we see the caution, that will end the race. If we get back to the white flag, well, they can kill each other, and we can see about anyone in the top 17 win this thing. Top 16 now, I guess.
Yeah, once they take that white flag, they're not throwing a caution. This is not NASCAR Cup Series at a super speedway. We don't throw the caution on the last lap here. So we're expecting the lights to go out on the iRacing sedan pace car this time around, and now Rob Hattenback comes into the pit lane. Fuel might be a concern for some of these guys.
I guess. I mean, I didn't expect any of them to need to come in, but I guess it depends on how hard you've been running and where you've been running. And there goes Thomas Green once again blinking out. Not what you want to see here for Thomas Green.
No, but it seems to only be happening under the caution flag. It seems like under green flag conditions, he's okay. I tell you what, though, we've got ourselves a phenomenal restart coming our way. Danny Cochran sits in the lead, the dominant car all day. He's led more than the scheduled distance of this race. Thomas Green sits in second. Philip York, Ollie Fonseca, Thomas Walter. None of the top 5 have won a race this year. Pace car's going to make that hard left turn. Danny Cochran has been early in the zone every time. We'll see if he does it again. And yes, he does. Hard on the gas. Thomas Green gets a good restart as well. Gets in behind him. 2 laps to decide it all here at the Milwaukee Mile. There goes Thomas Green with a strong middle. Gets right to the back bumper of Danny Cochran.
Heading down the back stretch. Coming down to turn number 3. Thomas has to figure something out. He has to close that gap, and he closes in there. Coming out of 4. Danny's trying to get to the white flag. Thomas says, please stay green. We do. Oh, we see
No, the caution has come out. The caution is out. Danny Cochran's going to win the race. A crash at the back with Todd Lamphere brings out the caution. I believe the white flag technically flew first. No, it did not. The pace car catching up to these guys. So this is the finish of the race. Danny Cochran going to lead Thomas Green, Philip York, Ollie Fonseca, and Thomas Walter, I believe, should be 5th place. So we'll go ahead and watch Danny Cochran gets the job done under caution. But that's a checkered flag. That's a W for Danny Cochran. And now we're going to go ahead and take a quick look-see at what happened to seal the deal. Todd Lamphere going around. Danny Cochran gonna win the race at the Milwaukee Mile. Thomas Green in second, and Philip York rounds out your podium. So you see a little bit of a drift going on there from the 96. Well, usually we do this after they burn it down, but we'll do it while he is burning it down. Danny Cochran, you got the job done here today at the Milwaukee Mile. We'll let you burn it down here for a moment.
Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. Some really hard racing there for a little bit. Unfortunate contact between me and the 15. I didn't mean to get into him, but I raced him the same way he races me, and he checked up a little bit more than me going into 3. I hate that it happened that way, but it's how it goes sometimes. I think we almost let it flag to flag, other than about 5 laps there. So it was pretty cool getting that done. But yeah, man, pretty good night overall.
Yeah, you got the job done in the heat race, and you kind of mentioned that battle you had with the 15. Do you think there was anybody behind you that could have maybe gotten to you or gotten the job done, other than that 15 machine?
The 3, Thomas, he did a really good job predicting my restarts, and he was keeping it close to me there on those last few green white checkers, and he had me sweating pretty good. But him and the 97 both, they had a lot of speed at the end. They done a really good job saving their tires. I knew they would both be fast on those green white checkers. Shocked that iRacing threw that last one though, considering I felt like I was across the line, but I mean I'm obviously I'm not going to turn that down. But you know, I wish we could have raced him to the end, because both of those guys had a lot of speed, and would have had a lot of fun racing them.
Well, just for some insider information on my timing and scoring, it shows the white flag coming out about a half a second before the caution flag. So I don't know if it came out before you got to the line, but obviously caution did before you got to the
Yeah,
line. That made that last lap a little bit easier for you. But before we let you go, who's on that car? Who do you want to thank for such a strong performance here today?
yeah. Buddy's Custom Baits, as well as Larry Arts Productions, both on the car tonight. Super cool having both those brands right along with me. You guys for broadcasting the course, and the drivers that keep showing up every week and keep making the show better. Had a couple rough patches tonight, like with the 2-car race there for 25 laps, but appreciate all those guys showing up, and the fans for watching, sticking it out with us. Appreciate y'all watching, as well as any of my friends or family that are watching. But I just want to say one more thing. That was a iRacing yellow. That wasn't admin. That wasn't race control coming across the line there. I don't know if it was a scoring loop thing, but I definitely felt like I was across that line when it came out. But I don't know. We'll take it, I guess. Still fought hard, and looking forward to fighting hard again next week.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on getting the job done here at Milwaukee. Definitely the longest distance you guys have put on all year, with 96 miles completed. Danny Cochran gets the job done here today in Milwaukee. So second place is going to be Thomas Green. Go ahead and bring him up here. And Corey, I believe you should be with Thomas Green.
Hey there, Thomas. You got a copy on me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, probably unfortunate with that caution coming out there as you were coming through the white flag. Did you think you had anything that you could have done differently on those restarts?
Uh, I think the last restart, I timed it absolutely perfectly, but I backed off because I thought I didn't, and I thought I was going to get ahead of him. So if I would have just stayed in it, I think I would have been maybe side by side with him, and then maybe we could have seen what would have happened. But I was running really tight there on the exit of 2, especially, so it was hard to kind of stay with me. Definitely had the better car, better tires, but that was a good win by him. Fought tooth and nail all race, so it was a lot of fun. Just great racing overall. Track, I didn't even know what this track looked like before the race, so I was happy to get in there and do as well as we did, and we had a strong run. Just unfortunately, the cautions just kind of played into it a little more than I would have liked.
Well, like you said there, your debut here at Milwaukee Mile. You got anybody like think can win that car tonight?
I just want to say thank you to you guys for broadcasting. Thank all my friends and family that support me, especially Anna. Shout out to you. Um, but yeah, just thank you to all you guys, and we're gonna keep going.
Well, there you have it, folks. Your second place driver, Thomas Green.
Yeah, now we're going to bring in Jacob York. We'll go ahead and tag team this one. Jacob, you had yourself a strong finish here, but it did not come easy. Kind of walk us through battling through the field early on in the race.
Yeah, man. First off, I want to apologize to the 55 again. That's not how I like to race. I got in a little hot, spun him around, got the EOL, and coming through the field was definitely interesting. Had to avoid most of the chaos, but we managed to do so, and it come out on the better end of it.
It definitely had a strong run. You came away in third place. Do you think you could have had anything for these top two if the race could have stayed green?
I'd have liked to had about a 5-lap run to the end. I don't think I had anything for these guys on a green-white checker. No, just kind of burnt my stuff up coming through the field, it seemed like.
Was you thinking about maybe throwing a bumper if you got to Danny there at the end, or?
If I could have ever got a decent restart there and stayed under Thomas, getting into one, who's to say I might have? But Danny's a good buddy of mine, and I plan to race him clean and race Thomas clean. Those are two really clean guys, and I enjoyed racing with them.
Well, man, you did pretty good. Third place. You got anybody you like to think on that number 97 race car tonight?
I can't thank the Holston River Machine Shop enough. They helped me in real life and virtually, so can't beat that. Miller Racing Graphics, and my whole family for tuning in every week, and that's about it. You guys for putting on a great broadcast.
Well, there you have it, folks. You're your third place driver, the 97 of Philip York.
Well, an absolutely phenomenal race here at Milwaukee, and as we're sitting here watching, I can confirm that the leader did pass the start-finish line before that caution came out. So I'm not entirely sure how that ended up being a caution. You see, that's where the moment of caution was, just a few seconds or a second or so before this. But either way, Danny Cochran gets the job done. Thomas Green, Philip York round out our podium. Go ahead and get the results up for you as well. Sorry about that. We get the results up. Danny Cochran, Thomas Green, and Philip York round out the podium. Then we've got Ali Fonseca, Thomas Walter, Mo Perry, Owen Joyce, Christopher Smith, Brandon Elvis, and Ryan Bird rounding out your top 10. Sean Huffstetler, Zach Jersick, Ethan Smith, Justin Potter, Todd Lambert, Jim Center, Todd Lamphere, Rob Hattenback, Aaron Krolick, Braxton DeWeese, Justin Sipes, Isaac Shelley, Dakota Moniz, and Mason Cassidy rounding out the field. Well, Corey, this was your second time around with the Virtual American Short Track Tour. What are your final thoughts here after the Milwaukee Mile 80 plus that turned into 96 miles?
Well, you know what, Liam? It was a pretty good race. It turned out as I expected it should have ran. And good job to Danny and Thomas Green, Philip out there getting top 3, and it was interesting. You know, I kind of like it. Kind of liked it.
Definitely a blast out here for these guys, and Danny Cochran probably having the most fun here today, getting the checkered flag. Definitely a good situation for that 2 car. But that's going to wrap it up for us here on Sim Racing Media. We can't thank you enough for tuning in. here on our YouTube channel. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, all that good stuff. We appreciate you. We'll catch you guys next week when we believe we take on Myrtle Beach. So that's going to be another fun one with the Virtual American Short Track Tour. But I'm Liam Irvig with Corey B up in the booth. You guys have yourself a wonderful Sunday. I suck at ending these things. I really do. I'm going to get you back so I can hear you. And... All right, now we're good. Maybe not. Now we're good. Okay.